everybody! Today's video is very impromptu. I thought I would do like a little unboxing and also talk to you guys about like the conflicts that I'm having as a book nerd right now. It's been interesting, so I thought I would share with you. Alright, so first unboxing. If you're wondering why the setup that I'm doing right now looks like complete and utter garbage, it's because, first of all, there is garbage in the background. Second of all, I'm moving, so all my bookshelves have been de-bookified and stacked in a corner, and there's tons of boxes down here, and it's just a mess. It's been fun. So I got a root canal the other day. Well, I got half a root canal because they have to go back and do some more digging. Fun stuff, guys. But like low-key, root canals aren't that bad. I mean, for some people it's awful, but for others it's not bad. For me, it was not bad. So for root canals, you're sitting in a chair getting your teeth drilled into for a couple hours. So I was like, okay, I don't want to just sit there and listen to the drill like going in and out of my tooth. So I decided to listen to an audiobook. The audiobook I was listening to was 99% Mine by Sally Thorne. And if you guys watched a video that I did about 6 months ago, I talked about how everybody was like loving The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, and everybody was like, oh my god, it's the best book ever. And I read it and I was like, you know what, it was an okay book, like it was good writing, whatnot, but it just didn't hook me like it seemed to hook others. And so I decided to give Sally Thorne's new book, which is 99% Mine, a go. And so I started listening to it. Well, at first I started reading it and I got to chapter like 3, and then I started listening to the audiobook, and now I'm on chapter 6. So I'm on page 73, and you know what? My dilemma currently is that I'm not like hooked to the story. I don't know what it's about, Sally Thorne's books, but I'm just not hooked, and that's fine because her writing's very good. I'm just not like, you know, hooked. And it's a bummer because I really, really love the plotline of this book. So this book follows a story about Darcy, and she is a world traveler, but she tends to bartend on the side whenever she needs money, and she goes back home when she needs to do that. And her home was with her grandmother up until her grandma died and left her estate, aka a cottage, to her to renovate and then sell. And that's where we meet, what's his name again? Tom. Tom and Darcy are friends that have been friends for quite a while, since they were wee kids. And Darcy also has a twin brother who kind of like called dibs on Tom, saying he's my friend, not yours. But many years later, and after a fight that Darcy and her twin brother had, they're very estranged, Darcy runs into Tom at her grandmother's cottage because he is supposedly supposed to be helping her renovate the cottage. And sparks fly at the cottage, but it's not all perfect because of the estrangement with her twin, and her twin kind of calling dibs on Tom, and Tom also having a fiance. You know, things get a little bit crazy from there. So that's pretty much the really brief summary of this book. The thing that I'm having difficulty with is getting hooked by it. I mean, like, I'm almost 100 pages in, and it's good, but it's not like, wow. I'm having this dilemma of like, do I keep on reading it or do I move on to another book? Because I gave The Hating Game a try and I did finish it. And now I'm like, do I finish 99% Mine to make sure that, you know, it's not the book for me, or maybe it turns out to be amazing? Do I give it that shot? So that's like the dilemma that I'm having right now, because I love Sally Thorne's writing. She's a great writer. The storyline is just not hooking me, and I don't know if it will hook me. So do I give it a shot or do I move on to another book? And that's why I did that unboxing, because I did order another book that was recommended to me when I was downloading the audiobook for 99% Mine. That book is a water bottle. Just kidding, I need to have some water. Severely dehydrated. So the book that I got is called Fight or Flight by Samantha Young, and I love Samantha Young books. I read On Dublin Street like years ago, and I hadn't picked up a book by her since, just because it was not on my radar, and then this popped up on my radar and I was like, this sounds so good, especially because one of the blurbs for the book was like,
the love interest in the book is reminiscent of Jamie Fraser.
And I'm like, whoo, Outlander reference, gotta read this book. Okay, so I'm gonna read you guys the back of this book, and then we're gonna decide together in the comment section, what do I do? Do I finish 99% Mine or do I read this book? So let's start. The universe is conspiring against Ava. When a last-ditch attempt to salvage her trip back home is thwarted by an arrogant Scotsman, their antagonism somehow lands them in bed for the steamiest layover Ava's ever had. And that's all it is until Caleb Scott, that's his last name, oh my god, he's a Scotsman, his last name is Scott, I'm obsessed with this already, basically shows up on her doorstep. When pure chance pulls Ava back into Caleb's orbit, he proposes they enjoy their physical connection while he's stranded in Boston. Ava agrees, knowing her heart's in no danger since A, she barely likes Caleb, and B, his existence in her life is temporary. But it turns out Caleb Scott isn't quite so intolerable after all. When a stay in Boston becomes permanent, Ava must decide whether to fight her feelings for him or to give in to them. But even if she does decide to risk her heart on Caleb, there's no guarantee her stubborn Scott will want to risk his heart on her. Dun dun dun. So I mean, like, that sounds so good, and I feel like I am kind of inching towards this book just because it sounds very relatable for me. Because first of all, I love Scotsman. Second of all, I live in Boston, so that's awesome. And third of all, like, I don't know why this is like a thing for me, even though I did write a book with this in it, but like, I'm so weird. So like, I tend to like romances when they meet for the first time in the book. Not like a friendship that has been brewing for many years and then they fall in love. I kind of like getting to meet the person in the book and then seeing that romance evolve and develop into sexy fun times. So pretty much in my book, Zenith, Dex and Andy, they are exes, and then they meet in the first book after their breakup. Andy tries to kill Dex for the like 70th billionth time. Doesn't work out, and then it's about them rebuilding their relationship. That's like a premise of a lot of like romances in books, along with romances where the two characters meet for the first time in book one, and it's about their evolution of their romance from being strangers to being partners. So I tend to like the second version of that better, like, you know, them meeting for the first time as strangers. That's why I'm like really inching towards Fight or Flight instead of 99% Mine, but I did read 73 pages of 99% Mine, so do I finish it? I don't know. It's like this is like such a serious dilemma. I don't know why I'm recording this. I just felt like discussing it because I feel like I haven't I've been doing lots of like unhauls and packing and stuff on this channel, and I'm like, let's just like do a good old bookish video where Sasha is confused as to what to read. Once like April hits, like my channel will be back to its normal self, really, because like I have so many things happening in the next month that it's like insane. Like, I'm moving, I'm going to Japan, which was a trip that was planned months ago, and then it just happened to fall within moving time because moving time got moved up 2 months. So lots of hectic things are happening, but I'm gonna be filming more like bookish, very typical bookish videos that you guys love very soon. But yeah, I thought I would just like film this because it's like a struggle. It's a struggle. Do I finish a book that I'm like halfway neck deep in, or do I start a new one and see if I like it better? Struggle is real, guys. I mean, I do have a second half of my like root canal coming up, so maybe I'll like listen to more of 99% Mine during that. But I also downloaded the audiobook for Fight or Flight because I had too many credits and I needed to get rid of some, so thanks Audible. Side note about audiobooks, I devour them nowadays, and if you want to get a free audiobook, go use my link down below because I'm an affiliate there, so you can get a free audiobook using my link. So I'll be leaving it in the description if you guys want to get a free audiobook because I love them, and I forget to tell you guys about that offer that I have. So let me know down below, like, if you ever have this dilemma about reading a book that you're kind of into, kind of not, and then finding another book that you're like really into, but you're not sure if you should finish the book that you're currently on, because I've been having issues in the past like year finishing books and then starting other books and not finishing the book that I was just on, and I just like want to stop that repetitive cycle because I do finish books nowadays, but a lot of the time I start other books and then I just am not into them and I don't read the rest of them, or I'm into them and I just like forget to finish them. Guys, it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle, but I'm like slowly overcoming that, but I don't want to like fall back into that, and I'm worried that if I stop halfway through 99% Mine, I'm gonna just be feeding bad habits. What do I do? Help me! Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this crazy all over the place video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to go follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I talk a lot about the books I'm reading over there, so go give me a follow and say hi. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and go help me in the comments below. Bye!